It's a beautiful day, the 27th of January 2024. Yeah, second edition of our mass wedding counseling session. On this particular beautiful platform, Happy 98.9 FM. You can join us live on Facebook. It's being streamed. We'll do comment any questions in at all. Even though we are doing this for our beautiful couples, you out there, you can also benefit from this. So it's not just for the people here, but more about more sharing. Mobetimi enyaho emfaso be questions within the Isaac are there. Now another beautiful day has come because your counselor chese nanwate onim kasa or worry so a check akra na experience there of an kwa. Me see experience there or then of an kwa. I'm going to introduce her shortly. Let me remind you, sir, we are streaming live on Facebook. Join us with your questions, contributions, and your comment. Happy FM. The 2024 edition will be happening on the 4th of February 2024. Your counselor, Mrs. MaryAnna Edujemfi, just a counselor and and so we are going to enjoy a lot regarding her counseling, her teachings, and her guidance. And to me, a counselor, that is Mrs. MaryAnna Edujemfi, na diaka nyina so or the atoya so. Bedamase.
Thank you. So, good morning, Mima. Na good morning. Wonga mofia molebine Ghana bife nganye. So to our counsellors, good morning and welcome. I know that last week you learned about what is marriage. That was what the conversation was. Today is going to be a very interactive session. So we'll be hearing your voices as well throughout the session whilst we are here. Today we'll be learning how to build a happy marriage. I don't think anybody goes into any partnership expecting disaster. So it's also good that we learn how to build a happy marriage. I've been married for over 11 years now. So I think that we get to share our various experiences, noting that some of us go through different things at different times. So there are two key things that we are going to focus on today in helping us build a happy marriage. And that is the various stages in marriage and also effective communication. Those will be the two major things that we'll talk about today. Just as the Bible tells us that a man would leave his parents and cleave with his partner, it's also good to know what to do when you are cleaving with that partner to make sure that that partnership is beautiful. And that's why there's the essence for premarital counseling. And the reason why we have premarital counseling is to ensure that you have a roadmap that will guide you in the journey of marriage. So it's not just a process. It's something that will help, give you an idea of what will be facing when you enter marriage. After the premarital counseling, during marriage, it's also important that you have somebody who is guiding you throughout the process of your marriage. Because certain times you go through things that you don't understand, you are upset and all of that. And that is why it is important. For most people, they just feel that, premarital day is just a process. Let's just run through it. But it's a roadmap. If you take it seriously, there are a lot of things during your marriage you would be able to avoid. And then even during the marriage, it's also important that you have good marriages that you look up to. It's very important. Good marriages that you look up to that can guide you through your marriage as well, knowing that all marriages are different. So as I helping build a happy marriage, it's important that we know that marriages go through different phases. So no two marriages are the same. And if we would know, it starts off, when we started courting, it started off with people, a man and a woman, boy sees girl, Girl is happy, boy is fine. Boy sees girl, oh, this girl is nice. So I like this girl. And then they come together. Now, when you get married, the first few months of marriage is usually called the honeymoon phase. So you realize that most people are telling you that, oh, they're on the moon. Everything is nice. The man is, everything he does is perfect. Whatever the woman does is perfect. The sex is good. The intimacy is very nice. Everybody saying nice things to each other, and that's for a very long while, right? So like I said, today's an interactive session. So will you be able to share with me some of your experiences, the honeymoon phase? Madam Cecilia, during the honeymoon phase, how are you feeling? How was it? Yeah, okay. Monswe. Mm-hmm.
Okay. During our, short while that we remain together, I see some kind of three things in her. That is why I choose to be with her. One, he's a girl that has a humility. A girl who doesn't feel proud in himself, actually. And also, she's a very hardworking. Sometimes we, the men, we're going for beauty, but we have to check on the attitude. But beauty, they will say beauty is vanity, and also beauty is sold in store. So that's why the character, and then also someone who knows how to do household things also as well. And then the beauty comes at last. So these are the things that I saw in her, and I began to chat, and I was happy with her, and then we moved together in our relationship.
So the honeymoon phase, the BBI fine. Until from the honeymoon stage, after some time, now BBI starts to settle. Everything starts to settle. Now you now start to see the man for himself. You now start to see the woman for herself. Nyama oya enya wo fe no obi na de odutie ye na no obi na. The socks are onsi ubehu. Odidi 10 p.m. Odidi so on the plate ubehu na. They know this say na beba, to the fore. At that stage, important say obetia say it's also a stage of the marriage. Those things happen. And during that stage too, when you know yourself and you also know the person you are with, and with understanding, what you say, okay, at this stage that I am seeing the things I don't like, toothpaste cry, no me one person, but then no me no will be a fool. No who say, if you credit me jaya warrior because of that. Oh, you train the same, no atenase. Oh, are they? So yes, so the realization stage in there. Now everything now comes because at that stage, now if you listen, say yeah, normal, until be out who he doesn't mind. They're not yet before now, more worry, This will be who na into nefe, they're nefe, ni na we na. So that's also another phase that is also very important. Say, it happens. And with knowledge and understanding, we're able to navigate through that stage. Then usually at that stage, including, then you get to another stage in marriage where now there are children. How do you manage the children? How do you manage yourself? Some men are taking responsibility in the home, are leading the home. Others too are not. There's rather the women. Now that whole combination. No, I'm the man. No, I am the woman. I am the one bringing more money. I'm the one paying the school fees. that also. And everybody comes with this mindset. From where I come from, the man is the head of the home, And then, again, for most times, and especially in those situations too, it's important, say, you get to seek a counsel. The counsel is not bringing your family members. Because they now will go in front of their parents. And the whatever perception you create for your, both families, naka, and one marriage no. Inti muka bom kra na umami nim say ekuya the subanye e wonitrim. Kweku subanye ne wonitrim. But you need to protect each other. In seeking counsel, that is where whatever issue amukra no, counselor ni baby saw okay kweku. I didn't say same way chichim ubecha wabeka wadre. Ekuya subeka ne de. Okay. I didn't na udrene say a same way. Ujina so den sa. Kweku susu adent na the wasem no ujina so den sa. Okay. Now waka wasem no so waka na asem no. So wukum na mukum atom yem. We say I nti bi pese kweku yesi with them ontomobo. On this note, knowing say kweku ni bufu ntem akosua ne de ne koma yemre nti kweku ese otobo ema akosua. Because one should ya obeka bibia ebe ha akosua nti na akosua de o ka no ompeso biti enye so opeso biti na ase wontie de o ka no nti no na ha no so what I say so it's important say with the knowledge ne nti ase ne patience, a lot of patience. Yes, ye maame nom e ka say aware de ne kwan wa. Is because there are a lot of things that happen. And for all these things, they don't happen at the same time. It happens gradually, different phases. Another stage of marriage too, then something happens. There's a loss. Obi maami ewu, ana ne papa ewu, ana ne nua ewu, ana the man has lost his job, or the woman has lost her job. What do you do? For some, that is, they can't handle it. They can't handle it at all. Until then, I be fie. Bema onye juma, and I hear no or she. Time and sister and Bema no, when you know when ye juma no. On refi, or say uniska. Mammy, so na all breho. Or say na mammy 2 cities cram where me niska. Me so uska, and so na yen tokwa. And so you handle the year and so any problems. Eba be brave. Usually that's to do to me who ni part ni soon in the buying. How that some people will say, Oba no maybe ane mama she's probably very close to the mother. And to us all you fear cry. I drink crying ho. How will you, as the husband, help her through that period where you are there? Sometimes you don't need to talk. It's just being there, and supporting her. It's also very important. Say, so as I say, it's also part of the marriage. Today, your mother and father are alive. Today, your family members, most of them are around. So your life has not been rocked in any way. You have secured jobs, so there's no problem. But where there are challenges, it's important that you talk about it. Kweku, inti say ene me nye juma, obeden. If you better saying. And that is why we have, such sessions, so that we are able to talk about them, so that when the eventualities do happen, at least there are things we've talked about. Nti wadrin ho no abo ho komo no. We say, hey, kweku na no ayeka okay, we say we say. Should we still continue on this route, or based on our circumstances today? There were kind of some 3 years ago, no. Emfa. Nti say yes sano. Ni be fufuro. But then I bet me a boy in na me near Jumano into the bow home, near Juma, nature film, so may call round every Juma. Me near Jumana, me say more responsibilities to the home and to the family. Then there's peace of mind. There's also another stage of the marriage where the children are out of the house. Nakamumino, Ufi, we are secondary school and now university. And I be cry mo ye juma mo fifi na ka mo nko a how mo handle mo other stages to time mo share our national. Because remember that it's a relationship, it's a friendship, and which is important to be nurtured. I say flower udria, one watana ebiwu. So how you manage that relationship is important, because in kolane de nyame e de chair until we are just stewards. So since we are stewards of these children, when they leave the house, it will be left with you and your spouse. If you've not built the relationship, said that she's your friend, or he's your friend, or your confidant, then you have nothing to talk about. You have absolutely nothing to talk about. And that is where now you find the women. Because Rama also hear me more, no fifi, no jabema no fi. I'm a dabena oba. Oh, maybe in 2 months' time. Maybe 3 months' time. If you also hear me more, until we develop no aba. Nakabema no nkwa wufi. Because they ain't here. Or te ne kunu nchenya, hwe no ho metumi aka. Obehwe nenim no hwe nenim. But then if you develop and nurture the relationship, even when the children are out, it is you and your wife, because it's for life. You and your wife. You and your wife. Wherever you are going, she's following you. Wherever she's going, she's following you. So it's important to take note that there's a stage in your marriage life where the children that we are crying for and all of that, they would grow up and then they would leave. And when they leave, we are only left with each other, that we have to build our relationship. At this point, I will pause. If you have any questions or any thoughts to share, they can do so.
Okay, thank you, madam. And then I want to ask that you were saying about when the man lost his job as well, and how could your wife lead the family as well? And I'm trying to say that, there are some women are good, some two are bad. In an aspect, in the time that you were working hard, and then you were supporting her very well, it will get to a time the lady will be fed up. Some lady will be fed up. Some too will do to the end as well. So that is where the man also thinks that, obey I'm a dono. I will also say, domino. Majuma say, baby, I want also yisa, I will say, shenko, isn't he? But me once me share among cry, say, and yes, I will still up about. Because you have to focus and you have to hope that things will change. By adding prayer, things will turn around. Because we believe that God is an answering God. But some of the women that doesn't have that patience. Some women that doesn't have that patience. But when you serve God very well, that is where you still have that patience. So I want to put this into our heads that we should still hope, but some too cannot wait. That's my small.
Also, a crab. So here be brave to walk and so and I am my make as I got some biana over bet me abana on no swam here the abaka, but it's a wish said the Nipana catcher and no one so over for so as I said, you are at me go away my and now I'm planting at
I want to speak something. When I entered into my relationship in the marriage, and I learned something from my wife, that, it's not all things that you have to call your mom and tell him that, and I'm going to say, no. I don't do that, because my dad and my mom stays very well. And actually, there are things when we go out, maybe they'll fight, but we will not see. But actually, when we come in, they will laugh. So I learned that no, it's not all things that you have to call our parents, tell them that I'm no boy me or yeah me see. And then you the man as well that you are with the woman. You know, women are weaker verses. I've learned a lot, even though I'm a young man, but I've learned that women are weaker verses. But you the man have to control them, direct them where to go and where not to go. You see, so there are something that she was very hungry, and I just sat down and I asked myself, no, I'm the man, I have to take it. So there are some things that women that doesn't have patience actually on that side, but we the men have to think far to not to, you know, sometimes you get hungry, and then you the man, you have to be patient. Because you don't want, if she's also angry and you're also angry, it turns onto another thing. And later it will end you the both onto another thing together. So I've learned in that aspect that I have to always be patient in a marriage. These are the small things that also I've learned.
That's great. So So now also another part of the marriage is that stage where now you are building yourselves in your various career, you are trying to climb up the ladder, you started a business, there are children, you are taking care of the children. During that stage, usually sex is not like the first thing on your mind. It's not the first thing on your mind, but then rather it's more intellectual intimacy. That's what you look for. So when you're talking to your wife about some business idea, you're expecting her to be, contributing. When you be among any advisor, now cry, no, then you get it. So at that stage, most of the time, and usually that stage is a very long period, from about for some it's like almost 20 years, and usually in that stage, and not building yourself and trying to maybe win your project, be a person starting, all of those things. And see, it's important during that stage, in as much as you are building yourself or setting up a business or running a business or running or building or rising up the career ladder, no, you remember that I have a spouse, I have a relationship, say, I have to nurture. Say, nebeya, time no, that face no kwa. I'm calling no be a econo, I bit musumamba san bit nifi, no. You won't come to me, so it's very, very important for a lot of us, and for most people they don't handle it well. You find that my man or 5 o'clock, they say 12 into bemani nifi or banon then an raho, or is at the other way round, then a bemano suni buefu and will be any hat, you be a fanamon and all of those things. Because remember, there's always the two of you and everything else. And for all the other things that are more building, it's very important. But remember that after all is said and done, you have a spouse who is looking up to you. So you always have to come back. Now, in that stage also, it's important to know, say, a lot of, whilst you are doing that, you are grounded in the Lord. It's very important because the values that you are setting in the home, the children know, into most of the time, nyama woye nyama no papa suye. But know that you have two different personalities coming from different backgrounds and coming together to create a new one for those who be coming after you. So you're always mindful. Now, after all these stages, they come to the retirement stage. Or what about retirement? Well, go 60 years, 65. Uni baby ako. Now, how you handled all the stages of your marriage, like you can say, how you handled all of it. How you handled it all will determine how the two of you manage your final stages. How did you plan for your retirement? Nanka tete knowing say kolano shomo ene entesa. It means say you have to plan. So okay, by the time I made this 60 years, 65 years, matutu bibia yi se na be ya me nkola no omo ye adwuma na me so metumi ahwe me ho ne me yere because omo kra no omo bre intiska no enso omo also ebeso mo and I usually at that stage no yare no bebre yesi BP yesi kidney and yesi me sisi and me ti and me nsa bebre so it's important say mo be plan it how to be and I nanom crab it most importantly ne say e be do sa pempenso no na mo mienu we are very close most of the time you go to me who marriages bia on we do 60 years 65 no na mama no oh me cause very queer o kwa 3 years on sign the chemai because onim se na oni ni kunu betna be under the same roof. Yes.
But I say like when you get married, the friends that you have you have to cut all of that friends because then time make us answer so worry boy unam bako nti adam for bi wonum so a oh bia onu krunya kasankasa kakra bi pe na bia na ko bona mane na sa wada for no no on worry nti side and person say is it good to cut a friends when you get married? Is it good or not?
So your friends know when now for no they are part of your social life. It's not necessarily good to say my worry intino me ni adam for bia my tramu na bo there be because there are certain times in your life when you be to me it na bon come to me dina sre won down for and I will come close. But you should be mindful of the kind of friends you are making. You should be mindful of the kind of friends you bring close to your family. Some friends, they are not good. But then some friends too, they also they are, how do you call them? They get closer than even your siblings. So you should be mindful. It's not everything in your marriage you get up and go and tell your friends. Just the same way you don't get up and go and tell your parents. There are things that you have to resolve between yourselves. And then sometimes, again, there are experiences where people tell their friends their issues in their marriages. And what happens? The whole neighborhood gets to know about it. The friend is not helping them in any way. Sometimes they will help them to even dissolve the marriage when that is not the kind of counsel the person needs. That is why you need matured Christians, matured married Christians who have good marriages that you can easily go to and speak to them about the challenges you are having so they can counsel you. It's not to stop you from having a good time with your friends. Why do you want to go and stay outside the whole week? Every evening you are out there. Then what happens to your wife? So bring the friend home. If that friend can't come home, that friend is not worth having. Even the friend should be able to tell you that, oh, Kwesi, you about 8 o'clock coffee. We are train. Ama coffee. Eso ko ye aduane ma wukuno. Eso ko hwe won ma into call. Again, even for the friends, they will know when to come around. What are you going to talk about? Are you going to be gossiping about the cocoa seller under the mango tree? Or you're going to encourage each other in things to learn, a business to start, or a trade to better yourself. So you check all of those things. So usually when you go for funerals, we will say, "Ukwa," then nkofo say, "Hey, nkofo to na fofo nkwa na mo boa na we ni age say me won nkofo a omo boa me." Sometimes they are there, say, Omobesha won crying. They are there, Senabeya Ombema Winiaje. That's not to take away your role as wife or husband, ewo our renim. So they are very necessary and as part of your social life, I will cry as a person. We fear we hear now for so do be born common. But then your number one friend, wow spouse. So that's it on the friend issue. Effective. How do we communicate between ourselves? Send a bear emfa in tokwa in kete I bet me I degenerate into tokwa kesia point of divorce, all because nipano or your partner no wanka asem niye ana nsem na efi de no mbaye no na enye na okuma entumi enkra. So on that note, I say pacho me fa me bag me ko. So again, like I said, it's an interactive session into no question. Maybe someone say currently partner at the same munkomodi at the same. Cecilia, we're starting.
Bakasa onu ba be bon ko bia ena ji so ba na asam bi hia na obisa na obe yi anu so betina se mitum akokọ mente meni hu problem be ba asam me ebisa no obe yi anu so a also apa obe bia tenante nko ban de bi o ha me so me ada for die onya me de ne TV ana me fa me fo na me bo nyum na me sa de me ne je ho kakanka me ti me bo me nyum na me sa anu so de anu so me ne je nti epie kwa bonti ne da fo sa de anu so me so me ala sa da fo bi o ho o kwa fa na uni ma sama ba ka de ha o bebre wa warem ana oni nkrofo no o mantem no o de problem o bebre mu ebe da ne ntokwa ne akasa ana sa uni se fi amotimu uhu se enipa kod mo binumu anu na okasa konkora do yase okonsa de omo ni ji hu ankasa ko fa bra na omo nka na da ne kasa misu san ne man de wonyame mi frijuma ba anu ase ma bewra mi dem ana mi ba mu fi school ba dem be ne aya na ni nyina awra dem anu so sana na me so me ni je hu mata da fo de so me ni je hu
that's it.
Me so adamfo de mani nje ho ba na me wona amfofo bi a me ne wo mo hello me wona amfofo a me ne wo mo area mo ho se me tedem na wo mo kasa na wo ma bonte me ye ni nkomo kakra na na wona ne shedem blani be won and I make my son half maybe me will quite be sent now. I say a man.
Inti your friend say my idea and down for 40 one shiny year it me hard drain inti and as much as in down for 4 a year says a word and down for 4 udomo bon como udomo bon paye udomo etutu nyama and so na ebi muso wo hɔ a kokko se na mo kan ye no kokko nsan ko a emfa hwema emwa asem kwa na ede nam nti most of the time let's also be mindful nko for a mo asem dan for a yede ebra ya warenum yede ba ya brabum se na be ya yen to sing, right? Okay, now in nkomodie no imagine say mufie mo kununum asori anopases we dware watam ne bag okokrum wo fie ana obi so baaye na waka se magi ukunu se memfa bag we embeja wo ho nti me ko ana nipa no ko okunu baaye no so no so ade bag no de wo de ato ho adwin kra ni ho ono so baaye no we be sa ohwe we chinchin a e no nya phone call na danfo bisa ne say okay kweku na me do bag ne breo ba mbehia wo yere e wo fie me da ma no kweku anya ntobo ase onso baaye na ama na madamfo ba ha no wan kan kire me se madamfo no wo de bibi bejawo se no kan no osusu do na wo se maye busy na sama ye busy no hwese na o de me kasa me kra be refi aye adete na refi no be abro bibi se fa mamia wo so refi na koye ntokwa was it necessary? So, and most of the time no Yehuda okono so one can't be oko okono one can't say we be ba beje bibi e wonichi poso no je ye no refi oba no one be sakra said nicely wedo we beje bibi e MaryAnna no aka say oh anyo but then also by na magi adentina we beje ade maame no wan fa amame so what I say. So it's important say from this scenario say mo kasa mo beto mo bo na make sure say asam na wo ka che wo partner no obeti ase ibi muso wo mo kasa umdo mu tiko ene kasa o kasa no no okọ unhwe wachi e make sure say asam na wo ka no nipa no ote ase ana ote yempo o as far as you are concerned weja nkrama no onso wante ebi na oye bibi usan wechi ba na obuefu kra na mede ma wo no winni so the way we talk is important, the words we use is important, the tone that is used is important, the facial expression so ayede kasa no is important. Awo mene wenim awo kasa we say partner no we dey eje uso onso ba mene nenim o kasa na wotetim ado de mi won tokwa na we hu na tokwa esi but we dey feel say we are project our voice, but the way you are speaking is what is disturbing. So it's very important say mo bon komo check these things. Oh, ja wechi amana make sure say the all kano wate ase. Oh, betumi diso ama wo. Nti obi kra behwehwe wo kra mpo a wonim say okay, asimesi beba behwehwe mi kunu oba ese bema nkonwa on tra so on twen. Ana obi oba untumi twen because mi kunu onya maaye. Nti nkra bi wo hɔ anu age. Na nipa no kɔ oba no abo wa mane say ni. As much as TV ne phones de no yankai say enye TV ni phone no na ye ware enye TV ni phone because the TV ni phone na ye ware yanka anka say na ibetiri say fi smart ase and at the obekire wo yere anawo kunu at the beginning of the marriage and no na beto aso and na beto aso esinti say musua se na mo bonkomo eba bibi kakra bi meko okrom bae no de wo hu okrom ebia ma ofie me nsi abonten nti de wo hu ye no no bebo me amane ebia bibi a ebetumi asre ebia ebetumi ebesua afim ni isu afim musumi a musu ameti fie nso no de me ye nso no abo wa amane ebia ejama kra bi etwemu e ma me sre nti na abo wa amane. And then it's also important say we would also know our partners well. Because ebi mo hwa to say sana Madam Cecilia kan ye no ni kunu fi ejuma ba okohwe ball e ball no ohwe no wa bre Into bibia obeyi na adwen every day edwuma na nti ya no ama time so I'm relaxing we are then asema wo hwa na odona kobo nkomo so what must say so it's very important as for communication e there one hwe ne ye e den sem bebre na eba it is important say we take it very very seriously how we talk with our partners, how we talk with our partners' family members. You know, oh, maso de okasa fine pa. Se no defe me no enya gro. Na ni aje making. Hwe ni ubotum. But then kasa na nko a alone don kai kra say hwe ni ubotum. You know, with respect, we speak to each other. With humility, we speak to each other. So that then asumdwe be yedia. Any questions for Juana?
Madam Pacha, Bessan Bisa, Mrs. Missa Sembako, say Ebia, Oko Shia baby. Na Ebia, what she new dome. You fall in love with that person. And Ebia, na Tata Motion, and I want to say, Pensa. Or no, Miss About their own woman's. And maybe honestly on quite sorry, but I'm quite sorry. It's like no wow done upon until like open say send out no or yes sir. Because open so worry no. Until moving antia na be a more back home. And time to say more worry, it be another worry. But sa subena I want oh try sell over son but on person or best son. And also with me about one so a coin.
Yeah, ma, me number catcher will say, unlike poles attract, like poles repel. Into fat will be say on your life partner as a ocean. As I will kai be a free. So most of the time, will be say be partner, you're sharing no background. The soon in the buying at the same. And sana ya peneso amamo now so welcome who oba ono mensa another thing to notice enya wo and obesi sanipa no if you have that mindset say oh me ware no asesa na it doesn't work because nipa no suban no started for how many years and I would have been so na wo buy awo ka say o sisa nipa no nipa no ene se o na adwen se mi simitim po se me sesa because na me hwe mi bi kunu se na o tefa no se me sesa ma no se na ebe ya ne ni beje menu mensa na ompe ba me pese me ye bi a ope nti no nsa no e bi a menum 6 bottles ebeba 1 with empire bo Nese na obe handle o partner no. Sa 1 bottle we free from 6 to 1 crown no. Obe jai. Because on kwa so ntumi no mensa be ye wode. Because in some no e dey na hofo so na enam. Because upia na wonom na weni age. Obe fie so a woni partner. Wonom ma e dem pa. Omo no mensa no sa na mo kan. Omo kwa omo no ma e dem. Seven kwa mete ho na me no mensa no enye de nti me hwe madamfo na me fa ne nom na yen sresre ne ye hitoli nti me nya wadwen say oh me ware na asesa na there be nipa na nkasa nti mpaebo ne se na you handle her it's not about criticizing her all the time because obeka cho say we share me na sa na me nom de da nti wo share me no na me nom na oso pe me nti ade nti opesa me jai Minjai. You know, but then the kind of friends you have, the way you talk, the way you even deal with the situation. Sometimes if you're not and that's not the time I'll be pick a fight. So you have to have a lot of patience if that is the cross you want to carry. If not, no couple bar ornaments start to say wow, and then move from cook and manum kakra. Makoda. Yes. Any more questions? Auntie Cecilia, no baby kana.
I can't person can say. Said the black cano. Obi ohon in Sanum dear and a juma. Pastor will bet me as a Sunday, I just empire. And as a woman paying for you, bet me a catcher no now, or bet me at 20 pounds for. Self a bill has a foot on fan there, and the obey didn't compare bomb. No catch and caca so I dare say na mean penny. It is a bear, I know bet me as a salmon boy, and the old catch and panica cracker. I bet me as some at 20 min fan dark crow. I catch and said, to be on woman, on giant and say, oh, woman dada. Until I reach red, no cassachin on back catcher and cracker. And also no bet me afa, no assessor. Bacha no.
That's more. Inti ene. Yede de esua no e ba wieye yesua say aware no ne kwan wa a lot of things happen and it's important say e be hu say aware no there are different stages inti for every stage you be dru no bibi na e koso was a stage nim no and interest aware no asay and say but then wisdom and understanding is what is expected say the be handle that stage of our marriage. Stages no is not in a chronological order. Say okay, me free level 1 and me call level 2. A table one, a be free as a cry and sana akosru. And anything can happen. We also learn say it is important say ye benya uncle for who have been married for long. It's not even about the length of time they've been married, but matured Christian marriages that you can look up to. Just as in our normal life, no, you have role models. Oh, me pay President Obama, ni suni ni buying, me person me pepa, someone to be like him. In that same way, our warriors no, there are good marriages there out there that you can look up to, so that you also help to guide your marriage as well. We've also had to learn the fact that it's important, say, we know how to talk and to communicate properly with our spouses. It's not everything ye can. I say yesusu. If you say ye kasa, how we talk, and some na ye kano, the way we say it, our facial expression, at the time ye kano, the tone of the voice when we are saying it, ni na kaho edimu. Sene be asa nkomodie no ebe fine enya sa na ede ntokwa susu na enam ena ntokwa de ye mpe ntokwa sa ebe ku kakra de ne aka bom kakra na ka ware no ne yesresre na ye ko na nye bibia aka nsana no nsema meka na obufu ye no ma asre kwa na ka aware no ho. So on this note enne ye de ye nkomodie no beba ewieye nyame adom next week ebeto aso with another topic, another session ni na to help guide your marriage senebeya mwaware no ebeto mpon. For those who have been together for long, for those who are also now starting, for those who have been inside and not too far off, na boamo. Thank you.
Happy FM, Nimdie, Happy FM, and Nijenkwa.